Hi friends, good afternoon. Today we are going to discuss about what is AML scripting. So how AML scripting will be written and how it is written in terms of Ansible. What are the points that we need to keep in mind while writing AML scripting? So now I have my Ansible server up and running. So in the last class, we have seen how to run some ad hoc commands for executing a single tasks, right? So in today's class, we are going to write some playbooks, and that playbooks are written in AML scripting. So to start writing the playbooks, you should get some familiarized with Ansible AML scripting. So this AML scripting is not only used in Ansible, it is used in Docker, it is also used in Kubernetes, it is also used in Git Actions, GitHub Actions, and it also used in Azure DevOps. So a lot of places, and it also be used in AWS, CI/CD, native services. Okay, so AML scripting is very important in terms of a DevOps engineer. So when it comes to DevOps engineer, he should have the most familiarity. What are the elements that we need to keep in mind when he is writing AML scripting? Okay, let's get started. So let's discuss what is AML. So AML is basically a kind of scripting which basically have certain format. So you don't have any loops, you don't have any braces. So but you need to keep in mind what are the elements and how it is useful in terms of AML scripting. Okay, so that's fine. So let's get into the stuff. So in AML, right? So there are two things that you need to identify or that you need to know. So that is, what are parent elements? What are child elements? Okay, so that is very important. So this AML scripting basically uses for putting some properties data into your files and passing some data as properties for the application, and it basically have all the details about your properties of the application. So in the same way here in Ansible a tool used for configuration management, right? Configuration management. It is completely, it's not limited to one particular task. It can do any automation, it can do the deployments, it can do the CI/CD, anything it can perform. So here, when you are working with Ansible, you have Ansible playbooks will be written in AML scripting, right? So this AML scripting, what are the key points that you need to consider? So those are the very first one, what is parent and child elements? Child elements, okay? So that you need to understand. So unless if you understand this concept, you cannot write a proper AML script. Okay, so let's see an example of parent and child distribution, right? So here, let's consider a college. A college consists of a lot of departments, right? So my college name is, for example, let's say CMR College. Okay, CMR College. Okay, so that's fine. So my college name is CMR College. So I'm going to give a colon over here, and the full form of the college is CMRIT. Okay, so I've given a value like this. And so the second line, I'm going to start about the departments. Okay, so college, CMR College itself is a parent element. It doesn't have any child elements involved in it. So how can we identify which is parent and which is child? So let's see that in terms of sorry guys, in terms of department. Okay, so here I'm going to give a name called department. Okay, so if you consider any college, right? So there are a lot of colleges which is having multiple streams, multiple departments which belong to computers, belong to mechanical, belong to electrical, or belongs to information technology. So a lot of departments will be there. But here you need to understand how can you declare. You need to know how can you declare syntactically and how can you show the difference between parent and child. Okay, so underneath the department I might have many departments. Okay, so here, so to declare a child element for the parent element, which is department, you need to leave a space. You have just leave a space. Okay, so here I'm going to declare underneath the departments, I'm going to declare CSE, and again leave a space, one space, ECE, underneath that leave again one space, MEC, underneath that I'm going to leave one more space and give IT. So that's it. So you have the parent element, which is department, and you have the child elements, which are CSE, right? Okay, so this is fine. We have declared certain data in a serialization manner, and the data serialization goes as CMR college is the first parent element, and the department is the another parent element, and whichever you are seeing CSE, ECE, mechanical, IT, all these are child elements. Okay, so now here I'm going to have one more section called let's say I'm going to have one more section called faculty. Okay, so this faculty is also to be considered as a parent element. So underneath the faculty I'm going to have principal, which are again a child element for the faculty, and underneath principal I'm going to have head of the department, head of department. Okay, and underneath head of department, so basically what happens here, so principal should be the parent for head of the department, right? So here we are allocating a single parent, which is an entity called faculty, and all the people those who are having different designations will come under faculty, right? So we have principal as the first child element, and we have head of the department as second child element, and we have as a third child element I'm going to have professor, and as a fourth child element I'm going to have associate professor. Okay, so these are the different designations that a faculty people are having, right? So this is CMR college, which is parent, department, which is again parent, and faculty, which is again another parent in the same AML scripting. So now these two parent elements, I mean, all these parent elements are called as siblings. What is that? Siblings. So all the parent elements are considered as siblings. Okay. And all the child elements will be considered as siblings again. So it is basically we are forming a group of people, right? So we are having a group of people who are different designations that are working in a company or in an organization or in a college. So those all the peoples are called as siblings. Okay. So and faculty. So faculty is a sibling to department, whereas the department is a sibling to CMR college, and whereas CMR college is a sibling to faculty, and faculty is a sibling to CMR college. So this is how the AML indentation you have to describe right. Okay, so I just taught you just to give you a brief idea about how AML scripting will be written. Now let's get into the stuff. How can we actually write a Ansible playbook? Okay, so let's clear the screen. So I'm going to start my playbook, which is always remember your AML scripting will start with three hyphens. So which is mandatory. Okay, give three hyphens and just enter, and again just give a hyphen and leave a space. That means you are telling that, hey, my playbook is starting from here. Okay, so the very first line of your playbook should be three hyphens. Okay, so and the second line starts with a hyphen with a space, and after that you can start writing your playbook. So the very first entity that I'm going to give is name. I'm going to allocate a name for my playbook. So let's take, I'm going to automate a task of installation of Nginx on my Ubuntu server. Okay, so I'm going to give the same name, install a package on Ubuntu. Okay, so install a package on Ubuntu, right? So next line that we are going to talk about in Ansible playbook is hosts. So host is a keyword where you have to declare on which node you have to execute this playbook, on which group of servers you have to execute this playbook. So here are lot of many different declaration formats. You can directly declare a IP address in terms of host, which is not at all a best practice, or you can directly declare a host name, which is again not at all a best practice. So here I'm going to execute this playbook first on my local host. When I talk about local host, it is something where your Ansible is installed and where you are trying to execute all the Ansible commands. Okay, so I'm going to give a keyword called localhost, which always indicates your native server where you are executing Ansible commands. And the third line of the playbook should be tasks. So tasks, the name itself says these are the series of actions that you need to execute or perform with the help of this playbook. So now you carefully observe the indentation that we have written. So the first line starts with three hyphens, and hyphen is needed so that you are telling to your playbook, I am going to start my playbook from here, and you are giving a name to the playbook by leaving one space between the hyphen and name. Okay, and you are giving a name called install a package on Ubuntu, and you are declaring hosts. The host should contain on which group of servers or in which server you have to run the playbook, right? So I'm going to declare localhost, which means I'm executing the playbook on my current server where I'm executing Ansible commands. And tasks. Tasks are series of actions that we are going to declare inside a playbook. Got it? So this is how you can intend your Ansible playbook. So underneath the task, what exactly goes into the tasks? So just give a enter, and now exactly underneath the first letter of the tasks, which is T, you have to give a hyphen over again, and again leave a space and start with your name. So observe here, whenever you are giving name, you are having a space between your hyphen and the letter N. So which is very important, right? So name, and give a name to the task, which is again install install package on Ubuntu, right? So for this particular playbook, I'm going to use a module called APT, which is a default module in Ansible, which is predefined module in Ansible. So that is, so this apt module, which basically works for installing the packages on Ubuntu servers, right? So after declaring apt, I'm going to declare the arguments. So the arguments goes like this: name of the package that you need to install, that is Nginx, okay, Nginx, and give a space, and again declare the state. State is an argument where you have to tell to the Ansible, okay, I want my Nginx package to be installed on top of my local host. So to declare that, you need to give present, right? If you want to delete an existing Nginx package from the Ubuntu server, you are going to put absent instead of present, right? So, and the third argument that you need to give is update underscore catch. So what is this catch, right? This underscore update catch is, so what is the first thing that you do when you log into a Linux server? You are going to update your existing packages, right? So, and if you do any modification or if you install any software in your server, obviously you are going to execute a command called sudo apt-get update, which basically updates the existing packages in your Linux boxes. In the same way, after installing the Nginx package, you are telling to the Ansible, you have to update the default apt repository, including the cache memory as well, and so that you are giving yes, right? So this is how you can declare a apt module with certain arguments, right? So after writing this apt module, we need to use another module called service module, right? So if you see, if you observe, I'm following the same indentation. So underneath hyphen, in the same level, same hierarchy, I have given a hyphen, I left a space, and again started with en and the name, and here I am going to write start Nginx. Okay, so I'm going to start Nginx service on my Ubuntu server. So for that reason, I'm going to use a module called service module. So the service module helps us to start the service, whichever the service it is, right? It might be Nginx or it might be Tomcat, anything, whichever you have installed. So you can start that particular service by passing again respective arguments. So the first argument in APT module, service module is common, that is name of the package. So what is the name of the package here? Nginx, right? So Nginx installation is completed, but you need to start the service. So Ansible will not start Nginx by just installing it. So installing the service is different. And after installation, you have to start the service. You have to make that service active inside the server. So for that reason, I'm going to give a state as started. So you are telling to the Ansible, make sure, okay, you go and check and make sure the Nginx service is started, right? So this is how you have to declare the Ansible indentation, and this is how you have to care about the Ansible indentation. Okay, so let's discuss few more playbooks. First, let's see how can we execute this playbook. Okay, so here what I'm going to do, copy this entire playbook. Okay, I have copied this entire playbook. So go to AWS console, connect to the Ansible server. I'm going to connect into this particular server. Okay, so let me connect to the server by using SSH client itself. So copy this particular command. So open git terminal bash Okay, I'm inside my bash. Go to downloads folder and insert the command over here. Yes, so I'm going to connect to this particular Ubuntu server. Done, we have connected. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to do is sudo apt update. So which updates the existing apt repository. Okay, and we need to make sure whether Ansible is present in this particular server or not. So for that reason, we are going to verify with Ansible hyphen version command. It seems Ansible was not installed. So just try to install it. Sudo apt install Ansible hyphen y. Yes, it is. It is getting installed. So let's see that how Ansible will get installed and how can we identify and what is the executable locations. Of course, we have discussed about all these things in my previous videos, but anyhow, I'll quickly recap what all those things. So once the Ansible setup is completed, so you have to keep that in mind. Ansible is a dependent on Python. So you should have at least Python 2.7, which is running inside your server to get Ansible started. So you can see that the progress is 98%. So let's wait till Ansible installs in my server. So Ansible is pretty cool tool, guys. You can do any automation that is required for you. So you can integrate Ansible with many tools, right? So I see Ansible got installed in my server. So let's verify Ansible hyphen version. Yes, I saw that ansible.cfg was existed in etc Ansible directory and user bin Ansible is executable location of Ansible and we are good to go. We have Python 3.8 which is running as a default version. Okay, so now let's create a directory for calling the playbooks mkdir and I'm going to call this directory as plays. So I'm getting into this directory and I will do a touch or I'll simply do a cat and give the playbook name install nginx.yaml. Always remember your playbooks should close, it should have an extension of YAML or YML, right? So because Ansible was written in YAML scripting, right, which is very important. You have to understand that. Okay, so that is the reason. So all the playbooks will end with an extension called YAM. So okay, so just paste the text over here. I think I have did a mistake. So let me remove that. Let me come out of this. rm-rf install deleted. So I'm going to copy the playbook again. Okay, copy the playbook and open the file again and insert the playbook, save it. So if you want to save like this, just press Ctrl C in your keyboard. It'll come out of it. So now you can cat the playbook, install nginx.yaml. Okay, oops, I didn't see the services. Okay, let's open the file in VM editor, install yaml, install nginx. So I think I missed this last line to get copied. So nginx, and I'm going to use service module to start the service. So the value should be name and nginx is the package and state should be started, right? So nginx and get started. Okay, so that's fine. So let's close, save and quit. Okay, so now we have the command, a default Ansible command to execute the playbook, right? So Ansible hyphen playbook and give the playbook name. Or let's say if your playbook is not in the current directory, so it is in some different directory. So I'm going to give the complete path of the directory under home, under Ubuntu, under place. You have the type playbook called install nginx.yaml, and you have to execute it. Right. So here what it is telling, failed to lock apt for exclusive operation. Okay, so you got some content about it. So okay, let's see about this error. Let's do sudo apt-get update, sudo apt-get update. So it will update the apt repository. It was updated. Okay, so now, so let's execute this file playbook again. Okay, so I missed to give sudo permissions for this playbook, right? So if you want to give sudo permissions for the playbook, you have to append a switch called -b at the end of the playbook command. So this B indicates you are executing this playbook with the root user so that you will get all the privileges to work with it. Okay, so install. Okay, so that's going on, right? So if you see here, provided host list is empty, only local host is available. And note that implicit local host does not match keyword all. So that means what I have done is in my server, I don't have any worker node configured. So that is the reason my playbook is getting executed in the master server itself, right? So if you see, I have Nginx installed and you see the output of this playbook. So it was started with installing package, the name which we have assigned to the playbook, and it is gathering facts about the servers. So this gathering facts is basically whichever the slave servers or the worker nodes you have, right? So all the details of those worker nodes, it will gather whether those servers are able to reachable or those servers are not reachable. So all these things, it will collect the facts of your servers. So, but here in my playbook, what I have declared is I declared a host called local host. So that means it's a native server. It's a current server, right? So that is why it is telling local host. So that means this playbook is going to execute on local host, right? So, and what is the another task? The another task is install package on Ubuntu, right? So it is changed. When you see a changed keyword in Ansible output, which is nothing but you can confirm that whatever the automation that you are intended to make with the task, that is executed, right? And that is in a local, right? So, and when you start the Nginx service, it is saying just okay, yeah, okay, it was started. And you have localhost, and we have okay 3 and changed 1. So rest of failed, skipped, rescued, ignored, all these are different operations that we do in the play level. We will discuss all these operations in the coming videos. So that's all for today, guys. We have executed Ansible playbook for installation of Nginx. And if you would like to confirm the Nginx version, you can just type Nginx hyphen version invalid option. Okay. So I think we have to give only one hyphen. Okay, no issues. We can also type sudo systemctl status nginx. So it was working and it is active and running. Okay, so this is how you can install a package in localhost. You can also configure the slave machine and you can give the slave machine host name in the playbook and it will be executed on the slave machine, right? So in the coming video, guys, let's discuss how to pass variables to an Ansible playbook. What are the different ways to pass variables for an Ansible playbook? Okay, so that's all for today. Thank you so much for your time. Have a great day. Thanks for your support and thanks so much. Bye bye.